Yes, people, welcome to the Coach's Corner, and we're just about to start the kickoff between Australia and Wales at Lyon. Anthems have been sung, teams have been named. We will talk about the teams as we go along. Don't really have much time to deal with that right now. Once again, Wayne Barnes, Luke Pearce, Chris Ridley, an all-English lineup of referees, and it is Australia who will be kicking off proceedings from Lyon. A nice high kick to be well claimed by Wales. Looks like it's not Adam Beard who's winning his 50th cap tonight. He's wearing number 5, but and already the Aussies are being a little bit over eager, and it is the number 2, the Aussie captain for the night, because James Skelton is out injured, and it's an Australian penalty for not rolling away from the scrum, and that will be kicked almost effortlessly into touch, and we are on our way. And, it's just started, of course, and the score will be updated as and when it happens. Welsh line out, easily claimed, and the Welsh are on the attack. And some really good passing, but the Aussie defence is quite firm. But Wales are actually pretty good at being able to reclaim the ball. But that's also another kick that will go straight into the touch near the Aussie goal line, and already Eddie Jones's Australia are feeling the pinch. So I'm just going to go to BBC and give you the team news. But since my television is causing a few problems, I will be... I'll have to watch on my computer through my subscriber account. And some good work there from the Aussie scrum half as he's able to reclaim the ball from the ruck. And is he able to kick that into touch? Yes, he does that quite brilliantly. So, obviously, there was some good football going on today. And not good news if you're an Arsenal or a Chelsea fan, but 4 decent games. A 5th one played later on, which I won't discuss out of respect for Blades fans who've had to deal with the tragedy of losing Maddie Cusack. But a Welsh line out now, and that should be easily well claimed, actually. Not easily, but well claimed. And some great passing with some good work down there. And already Wales are away, and this could be the first try. It's the Welsh scrum half, the number 9, who touches down not too far from the goal line. And already some brilliant Welsh offences left the Aussies, in their wake. But I will now change the banner. And it is, of course, 5-0 for Wales. A brilliant try scored. We're going to find out who the scorer was. It is the Welsh scrum half, Tate McDermott, who was able to take advantage of some brilliant attacking play. A lot of expectations were that the Wales would pass out wide to the right, but instead they went through the centre. And an easy conversion there for the Welsh. We're going to see who the... I don't know if... Yeah, but again, basically moving through the centre. The number 7 there, the flanker, Jack Morgan, the captain, bursting through quite brilliantly and leaving McDermott to do the rest. And it's Gareth, of course, the first try for Gareth Davies, the scrum half, fairly experienced. And once again, Gatland has opted to use the formula for, I believe it was 2000 and... I want to say it was 2015 when he made the young Sam Warburton his captain ahead of much other experienced players in the team. And maybe he's gone for the same thing with the young Dewey Lake and Jack Morgan being co-captains. Possibly because a lot of the older group will be expected to retire after this tournament. Certainly Dan Bigger will. And it will be interesting to see how they move forward. Australia also have a young captain tonight. And the experience of James Slipper, 134 caps, playing as tight head tonight, which is not his favourite position. But Australia coming back hard. And they're not pushovers by any means. But in addition to some really lightning offense, Wales have some pretty good defense. And we're seeing that right now. Defense. I sounded American there. Defense. That's the way it is. And that's an unfortunate knock on from Slipper, who I believe has captained Australia before. and that will... Well, apparently it's not a knock-on because I do believe Australia might actually have a penalty. Yep, penalty given against Wales for a high tackle. So Jimmy Slipper over there, all 135 caps, including this one tonight, all the experience, spared some blushes there. But the Aussie fly half, the number 10... Actually, it's not Tate McDermott. It was Gareth Davies who scored the try for Wales. I do apologise for that. I got my lineups mixed up. But it is now an Aussie line-out, which is very close to the Welsh goal line, and it will be taken by the captain, Dave Porecki, earning his 18th cap tonight. And a good line-out, won by Australia, with Australia coming through very close to the Welsh goal line and barging forward. Some brilliant work over there, who's almost being dragged near the goal line. But Australia can try and move forward, but at the moment they're being pushed back a bit. And a quick release of the ball. It finds what looks like the Aussie scrum half in there. And once again trying to push through. If this is the fifth phase, and Australia's still trying to go through, pierce a hole in, but the Welsh defence still holding firm. And Australia trying to release the ball, and eventually they release it. Are they going to go for a drop goal, perhaps? No, an unfortunate drop, but because it was backwards and not forwards, the play can still continue, and it is still with the Aussie scrum half. Going to find out who it is, and a nice little dummy over there, but the Welsh defence is smart enough to see that. And the Aussie number 11, got to watch out for him. Marika Koroi better. Certainly can play a pretty hard game. Still with Australia, still trying to move forward, trying to release the ball, but no real progress as of yet. But you can see there with the open side flanker, Jack Morgan, the captain, running through the centre. That really was an advantage. I'm not too sure if Australia have that. They're probably going to try and go through the flanks. But good release of the ball there. And Slipper trying to slip through the Aussie defence. I mean, the Welsh defence, rather, but not able to get it. But it is the Aussie lock, the number 5, passing it through to the loose head prop, the number 1, but he's lost control of the ball. Is that going to be a penalty, though, for Australia? No, sadly not, as far as they're concerned. But this has been a good bit of play, this, from Australia. And certainly showing a great deal of promise, if only their handling had been better. Now, Wales haven't exactly looked at their world-beating best in this tournament, certainly not against Fiji. But with Australia losing to Fiji, this is definitely a must-win for the Wallabies. And if they fail to win, they could face the prospect of exiting the Rugby World Cup before the knockout stages. Eddie Jones, the vastly experienced coach, in his second stint, of course, as coach of Australia, and was, in fact, coach of the Australian team that finished runners-up to England in 2003, 20 years ago to the day. Now he's back in the hot seat, up against the New Zealander, Warren Gatland, who has been coaching Wales, it seems, for almost an eternity. Now, there's a player injured. It could very well be the Welsh fullback, Liam Williams, who seems to have hurt his shoulder in what is a very, very unfortunate incident. But if you can't come on, there is a ready replacement in the form of the Welsh number 22, Gareth Anscombe. Very experienced player indeed. And I forgot to change the scoreline. Let me just change it for you right now. I do apologize. How long has that been there? Same mistakes all over again. Yep. Come on, Wales. 7-0 early on. They've got to score this. Daz, good to see you, mate. Interesting decision to go to the posts. Bigger shoulder could very well be a big problem. Could it be an even bigger problem for him? I don't know. Well, it looks as though Wales have opted to shoot for goal, and it will be the Aussie fly half, Ben Donaldson, with his first kick at goal. Now, we're going to find out how this penalty is. It's well, straight at goal, straight in front. And that will put the Australians on the board. Not by very much, but still, at least they're within some distance. And that kick is perfect. And the Australians are on the board. 3-7, and they're going to have to try to do a lot more than that. So this match, of course, is coming to you live from Lyon. And I want to see if I can... Yeah, well, the problem with watching it on my streaming device is that I'm actually a few seconds late. So thankfully, I got my TV working. And it's a Welsh line-out now, with Wales looking to try to pick up from where they left off with that earlier brilliant try scored by Gareth Davies. But Australia reclaimed the ball, and they're going to try to push out from the back, and they're going to need to do something soon. Otherwise, it could very well be a long afternoon for them. And, yep, Australia still with the ball, stuck in a ruck at the moment, not able to release it, but eventually they do. And Hanno will, of course, be joining us for the second half, but until then, it's basically me, yours truly, who's taking you through. It's a good thing I got the TV working. I was about 30 seconds behind on my computer. Still some problems, but it's on mute anyway. That's the most important thing. But very nearly a mistake there. And in fact, it was Donaldson, the fly half, who nearly fumbled that. And almost a lost line out for the Aussies, but they eventually win it. And they got to be careful with their handling because it's been a little bit sloppy at times. It was poor handling which cost them a chance to go for a try. And a nice little kick forward, but can Australia get it? No, it's won back by Wales, who kick it forward. It's not going to go into touch. That will, of course, go beyond the Aussie goal line. And once that is reclaimed, there will be no score. So I'm glad I got the TV back working because that actually puts me forward. A nice little chip over there from the... from Tate McDermott trying to move forward, but Wales winning that back almost effortlessly. And it is confirmed that Liam Williams will be coming off. Clearly, what looks like a chest injury or a pectoral muscle injury. And his replacement is, of course, it's actually Dan Biggar who's gone off, not Liam Williams, my bad. And Gareth Anscombe has come on to take his place at fly half. Remember thinking it looked like Liam Williams, but I couldn't be sure. Biggar, of course, one of several Centurions in this Welsh squad. And Biggar, of course, was in fact captain for the Six Nations under Wayne Pivac. Not the one just before the World Cup, but certainly the one before that. And of course, there is no Alan Wynne-Jones in the squad. He, along with Justin Tipprich and several other experienced players, announced their retirement from international rugby despite being named in the 54-man warm-up squad. But the ball not quite released, and Australia will have to do better in the next scrum because you don't want to see the ball being stuck on your side without it being released. And obviously, the Welsh scrum moving Australia the other way and causing all sorts of problems. And the Aussies are in discussion. They've got to try to find a way out here, but it's some really good play from them because they've actually earned another penalty. And Donaldson, again, will have a chance to kick for goal, and it's also well within his dead centre, so that should put Australia to within 1 point of Wales. This is really good work from the Aussie attack. The Welsh defence holding firm quite brilliantly. Not holding firm, holding firm. And they were, of course... I keep forgetting to change the scores. This is stupid. 5, 4, 3, and just in the nick of time, he's able to, get it over. And it is now Australia 6, Wales 7 with 14 minutes gone. And we have a battle on our hands. Wales showing some brilliant movement through the centre to score a fine try, but Australia coming back hard. And they've actually had 77% of the possession, more than 3 times that Wales have had. And so far, they've done almost everything right. Shame about the handling. A huge rock right now, and the ball unable to be released. It's Tate McDermott who kicks it high up in the air, and Australia managed to get it back. But it does actually travel backwards. And can they run through the Welsh defence? Well, a good piece of play there. Sees Australia try and pay it forward. And some good passing. There are a couple of men out on the left. Certainly the Aussie number 11, Corey Betta, is one to watch. Certainly one who can run really well. More brilliant passing from the Aussies. It's the 7th phase now, so they've got to try and move a little bit forward. And that is going to be kicked, but will it escape the clutches and move to touch? Yes, it does. Excellent work from Ben Donaldson, the fly half, and Liam Williams there unable to stop that. But sadly, Dan Biggar's night got over, hoping to have a big night tonight, but replaced by another experienced campaigner in Gareth Anscombe. A Welsh line out to be taken by the Welsh hooker, the number 2, Ryan Elias, and Wales win that line out well enough. And that's going to be kicked high in the air. It's not going to go into touch, though, and it doesn't even cross the halfway line, so Australia can do something with this. And probably not able to find his man immediately. Makes a decision to push through. Tate McDermott, the scrum half, trying to release it out, but there are 3 or 4 Welshmen sort of tackling the Aussies right now. But a lovely little dummy there from Donaldson. Brilliant work from him, but the pass goes all right, and Wales win it back, and he can kick it into touch, and that is not quite what he does. But Australia have to be careful. They've got to be the first to get this ball, and they do. Josh Adams there being denied a chance at scoring a try by Andrew Kellaway, the Aussie fullback. But brilliant work from Donaldson there, but actually the pass was intercepted quite brilliantly. But hoping to get that into touch, it doesn't quite fall through. The wind sort of takes it back in, and Kellaway saying, "Not tonight, mate. That ball belongs to me." And so Anscombe has a bit of a role to play over here because he's replacing Dan Biggar, who is one of the bigger personalities and bigger characters in that Welsh team. And of course, he is expected to be one of the main leaders on the team, just like Alan Wynne-Jones was. So yep. No spammers tonight. Not on my watch. And so Wales are on the attack right now. Just past the halfway line. Gareth Davies, the scrum half. And Australia can see the penalty. Not what they need at the moment. And you can see number 8, Talupe Faletau, better known as Toby by his teammates. And quite worryingly, Wales haven't touched the ball. And we've got a bit of a blood injury over here. Wonder who that could be. Could it be the Welsh captain? Well, It is, in fact, a Welsh penalty, and so Gareth Anscombe has his chance to extend Wales's lead by 3 to 4. Dead centre. And, oh, is that off the post? Well, what a reprieve for the Aussies. Anscombe, dead centre, had his chance to increase the lead to 4, and it went off the post and away. Well, could this be the Aussies' night? Might want to see this kick again, because it certainly looked for all my mind that it was going over. And Anscombe will be disappointed. Had his chance to make his impact. But it is a Welsh line out to be taken by Elias, and he's going to try and get it over. A short line out, easily won by the 50-cap veteran Adam Beard. And it's a huge maul going on right now, I believe. Wales still not quite able to release the ball, but dragging themselves forward. And it is now in Wales's possession. And I believe that will be a penalty to Wales. We're going to find out the offence there. Well, I think Anscombe might have another chance as we come up to the 20th minute mark to redeem himself for that awful, awful miss. And of course, took a huge hit from Corey Betta. Certainly will feel that. Now, of course, this is off-centre and sort of from the left. We'll have to skew inside. He should be able to get this one, hopefully, but he will have to try and aim this a little bit further to the right. But the shot clock's ticking. Down to 10, 9, 8. And that is more like it from Gary Anscombe. And Wales are, in fact, 10-6 up. And it is, in fact, the captain, Jack Morgan, who had a bit of a nosebleed and has a couple of nose plugs inside to sort of get into that. And listen, don't worry about him. The guy's been timed out. His comments have been removed. I'm in your corner. The coach's corner. And so Australia are going to have to do a lot of hard work again. And it's not going to be easy because Wales have the ball. But it is still in the Wales half. And now, of course, it's back with Australia, who can try and send it forward. And that is charged down, but Australia win that back quite brilliantly through the number 4, Nick Frost, one of the 2 locks in the team alongside Richie Arnold. Of course, each team has 2 locks, whose job it is mainly to win the line-outs, the 2 tallest players in the team. It is Gus Bell, the loosehead prop, who had a chance to put Australia ahead, but was denied that. Score a try. Kick forward, but Davies should gobble that up quite easily. Actually, it's Williams who does. And Williams is sent tumbling, but a nice little kick forward there from the Welsh number 14, but brilliantly won back by Australia's number 13, Jordan Patea. And that was, in fact, Lewis Rees-Zammit who tried to kick that forward. But a lot of it is Wales who have the ball, and I believe Australia, in fact, have a penalty, and we're going to find out the reason why. Liam Williams, the fullback, starting to feel the heat a little bit. There's not so much a penalty. I do believe Australia have a scrum instead. It's still in their own half, and they are going to have to work to get it away. But I will just run through the team news one bit. Wales are lining up with Liam Williams at fullback, Lewis Rees-Zammit, and Josh Adams as the backs on either side. The Centres are George North and Nick Tompkins, with fly half being Dan Bigger, scrum half Gareth Davies, who scored the try earlier. The loose head prop is Gareth Thomas. Thomas Francis is the tight head prop. Ryan Ellis is the hooker, with Will Rowlands and Adam Beard winning his 50th cap tonight as the locks. Aaron Wainwright is the blindside flanker. Captain Jack Morgan is open side, and Toby Falatau is the number 8. And for Australia, it is Andrew Kellaway, the fullback, with Mark Nawakatinawase and Marika Korebeta as the backs alongside him, along with Samu Karevi and Jordan Patea, the centres. Ben Donaldson, the fly half, and Tate McDermott, the scrum half, who is in fact going to lead the scrum. Australia about 10 kilograms lighter in terms of the pack weight, 922 to 932 for Wales. And I think Wales have made those extra 10 kilograms count. But fairly efficient scrum, and Wayne Barnes has stopped that. And Hanno did say earlier on that as long as the team has the scrum, the team will, of course, be allowed to complete the scrum fairly. So Wayne Barnes had a pretty rocky start to his rugby career. It is actually, in fact, a Welsh penalty because one of their players was standing up in the scrum. So Australia can, in fact, they don't need to scrum, but Donaldson can now, in fact, kick the ball, hope to try and get it into touch, and he does, well deep into the Welsh half. So not a good piece of play over there, but we can see, yep, you are not supposed to stand up when you're in the scrum. You've got to make sure you are crouched down. And it isn't easy. And a great piece of play there from McDermott, who's able to pass it quite well. It's well outside. And could we see an Australian try? No, he's chosen to run back in and ran head first into the Welsh defence. But some great movement from Australia. The passing, decent. Can the handling finally get them over? Donaldson with the ball, trying to release it. But the Welsh defence somehow able to reclaim that, and that is a turnover. And Wales can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief. Or can they? Well, apparently Wayne Barnes has told the Welshman to move back a little bit. I think he's awarded Wales a penalty. Australia a penalty. The question is, do Australia make the most of their yardage by trying to go for the try? Or will they be happy to stick to a 1-point advantage? Something tells me that if they don't take this chance to go for a try, they will end up regretting it. Thank you very much indeed for that. My commentary is not the best. I'm not very well versed with the rules, but I do try. Australia losing the ball at the breakdowns. Yep, always a problem. I did mention that their handling is not really the best, and it could have been a turnover, but instead Australia were awarded the penalty. So Donaldson has just kicked that into touch, and that will be an Australia line out to be taken by the captain, Porecki. Yep, all good, all good, all good. And pretty poor line out there, which was won well by Wales. And that also it was hoping to be kicked into touch, but this could be even better for Wales. No, it just goes beyond the line. And pretty poor line out there from the captain. Nobody able to retrieve that. And Wales can possibly make Australia pay. Now you can see over there that Porecki's throw was a little bit too far, and not one Aussie was able to jump up and reclaim that. And of course, had that stayed in the field, it could very easily have been a second Welsh try from a pretty poor piece of offensive work. It is now a Welsh line out, their 5th one tonight, and actually their 5th tonight, the 5th one they've won tonight, rather. And they certainly could look to make Australia pay here. Some great passing, and they've got some men out on the right. Gareth Davies trying to reclaim the ball, and Wales have certainly looked a lot better offensively than Australia. Very clinical with their handling and certainly with their running. And Australia are going to have to keep pegging them back and pegging them back. We're into the 5th phase right now of the rucks, and Falatau trying to move forward, but pushed back. But Davies can pass it. out. That is, of course, Gareth Thomas with the ball. And some more brilliant work from Wales. Anscombe passing it to Liam Williams, but Liam Williams is also held back. But you can see the positioning of the Welsh backs, how they're able to swarm around, basically. The backs are normally the ones who have the responsibility. I mean, not the responsibility, but they're the ones who normally carry the ball forward in the hope of scoring a try. And it is a penalty against Australia for not rolling away from the ruck. So Gareth Anscombe now has a chance to kick another penalty and put Australia 7 points ahead. What a kick by a flanker. Not bad at all. So a much easier kick for Anscombe this time. I'm pretty certain that he's not going to look to try and, miss this. Certainly had a great recovery after missing the first one, which hit the post. And we are coming up to the 28-minute mark. The shot clock is going, but he has plenty of time. Close enough. Not quite dead center, but definitely well in range. And as the clock ticks down, that goes through. And Australia are 7 points ahead. So Australia are going to need a converted try to tie the scores. And Eddie Jones is not liking what he's seeing right now. I think James Slipper, with all his experience, has been found wanting tonight in terms of his decision making. But now Australia can move forward. They do still have about 12 minutes left. Nice long kick forward from Donaldson, but well reclaimed by Faletau, who was almost immediately pulled back. And Australia have made several ball carries and had so many meters made, 341 meters to Wales's 92. So for all of the work they've done, they just don't have the points to show for it. And they're going to have to start being a little bit more clinical in terms of their handling with the ball and also their vision in terms of their play. That is McDermott there, who gets the ball out. And once again, Australia have to try and move forward, but the Welsh are pinning them back. Still releasing the ball, still some passing going on. No interceptions as of yet, but Australia do need to be careful because, and once again, pretty poor ball handling, but they do reclaim it. And, well, it looks as though Wales have won a penalty this time around. We're going to find out what the offence is. And once again, it's the, looks like it's not much a penalty, but a definite knock-on. Loss of the ball there. And you can see the Welsh defence really on their A game tonight. They probably, we are now at the half-hour stage, 10 minutes to go before half-time. And Eddie Jones is going to have to read his boys the riot act. Otherwise, you know, if they lose this game, of course, they could end up going home. I certainly don't see Fiji losing to either Portugal or Georgia. I don't know. I think Fiji have already played one of those teams. I have to check the schedule. But Fiji could well end up going through at Australia's expense, and that would be an absolute tragedy in Australian rugby circles. But the ball not released eventually. Faletau gets it out to Davies, who tries to kick it forward along the ground, but well reclaimed by Australia, and they can try and move forward through the fullback, Kilkenny. Well, that's not Kilkenny, actually. That's someone else. Patea, who actually reclaimed that. Slipper trying to help release that, and McDermott does some good footwork over there. And eventually he is able to receive it. High kick, hoping to find his teammate, but Anscombe leaps and reclaims that perfectly. And once again, we see the Welsh moving forward, and the Aussies desperately trying to pin them back. But the Welsh defence has been on point tonight, and the Aussies haven't quite looked in the pace. High kick from Davies, but that should be reclaimed, and Donaldson does brilliantly to get to that. And so we are coming up to 8 minutes left, and Australia now have to try and move forward. And there's Slipper, who can't slip through the Welsh cracks, but he is able to keep the defence occupied. Tate McDermott now, hoping to follow in the footsteps of the legend that is, of course, George Graham. And, can the Australians get that? Nope. It's, well, I do believe it is, in fact, a penalty against Wales. We're going to find out what's the infringement here. And one of the things I love about this telecast is, well, certainly they leapt for it, but couldn't get it cleanly. Gareth Davies there trying to claim it, but sort of slipped out of his hands, off his chest, out of his hands. And it is, in fact, Mark Nawakani Tawase. I'll get that right. Of course, when you've got a long name like myself, you have to be sensitive to a lot of very long names, especially if, especially when you're dealing with a lot of people of Pacific Island origin. It is going to be an Aussie scrum, and Tate McDermott there with the ball. You see Jack Morgan in the scrum right now, nose plugs and all, and still can't quite release it, but eventually McDermott gets it, and not quite able to get the long passes going, but that is a wonderful long pass to Patea, who is immediately charged down. McDermott coming back into the centre, passing it back to the centre. Once again, receiving it and passing it. And Kilkenny now. Certainly not a Kilkenny cat, but he is well up for the fight. And it is Bell, the loose head prop, trying to move forward. And now Australia moving forward on the right through Patea. Australia can't release it from the ruck, but eventually they can. And it all depends on that quick ball release. If you can get release the ball well, you can do that. We're into the 8th phase right now. And once it gets to a certain number of phases, I believe you can't really have too many more rucks. And a pass gone awry, and that will be a Wales line out. And you see over there, sometimes when it comes to the decision-making from the Aussies and even the New Zealanders in this tournament, certainly in the opening game against France, the decision-making has, been found wanting. Once again, they're doing some really good work, but at the very end, some pretty poor decision-making. And, you've got to be switched on. You've got to make sure that you are ready to claim a pass. And the pass not really going towards Kilkenny, and Kilkenny unable to go far enough to reach that. And Eddie Jones and his backroom staff in the, I wouldn't call it the dugout, but definitely on the sidelines, are not liking that one bit. And so, of course, confirmation that this is the score. Australia 6, Wales 13. On my telly, it's saying Wales 13, Australia 6. Potato, potato, whatever. Then we see over here the brilliant work that the Captain Morgan did. Captain Morgan. I swear. Obviously, I don't know the significance of that, but clearly a lot of our older viewers will know what that means. And the Australians are quite frustrated, but they've only got themselves to blame in terms of not being able to convert their possession and dominance into actual points. But Wales so far can be happy with the way they've approached this half. And if they're able to maintain the 7-point lead, I think Warren Gatland's boys are going to enjoy their halftime cup of tea a lot more. Of course, in France, they prefer coffee, but whatever. Another line out to be taken by Elias. Easily won, and the Welsh have been much sharper on their line-outs today. The Aussies, in contrast, have been a little bit flat. A huge maul taking place with Wales's extra 10 kilograms being put to good use. But that's actually not a maul, it's a ruck, rather. And the Aussies have been able to win 56 rucks, and this is why you see my commentary isn't the best. I still can't quite distinguish between a ruck and a maul, but brilliant work there. And well, apparently the linesman had raised his flag, so whoever received that pass quite brilliantly wasn't able to stop it going over the touchline. Anscombe with the kick, and well, it wasn't exactly a leap. It was in fact Josh Adams who released that. Didn't exactly fly, but that is an Aussie line out, and for once they win it. And now they've got to try to push from the back. But the Welsh have certainly been very aggressive with their tackles, over 4 times as many. 101 to the Aussies 25. Kicks high in the air. And Liam Williams reclaims it. They've been very sharp and on point tonight. About 4 minutes to go, and if Australia concede another try, it'll be very difficult to see them coming back into it. I do remember predicting that Australia could find a way to win, but looks as though that prediction's going to go to pot, for want of a better word. High kick from Davies. And brilliantly claimed by Josh Adams. Can Wales make their dominance count with another try? Gareth Davies. Adam Beard pushing forward, but well held back. Yeah, it just goes to show that all of the experience of the Welsh is coming to the fore. Yes, their captain may be young, but it's really the experienced guys who do a lot of the leadership on the field and the talking and everything. Phase 5 of the tackling phase, and almost handbags at dawn, but brilliantly reclaimed by Australia. But is that going to be a penalty? We're going to find out now. Could very well be a somewhat I don't know if that was necessarily a high tackle, but Wayne Barnes over there laying down the lawn. We're going to find out what the issue is. Yep, off feet. So clearly when the Australian number 5... Ooh. I don't know how that was off feet. His feet looked on the ground to me. But you see this brilliant claim from Josh Adams, rising higher than Donaldson to command that ball. And another reminder, do please smash a like and subscribe to the channel. And it is, in fact, a Welsh penalty. So Anscombe can raise the lead from 7 to 10. After missing his first one, which was dead center, he's got another one dead center. And I will be danged if he misses this one. I'm safe. Wales, 10 points to the good, with 1.5 minutes to go before half-time, and Eddie Jones will not be happy. I do predict a whole raft of changes from the Australians in the second half, but if Australia lose this, they can effectively kiss their World Cup hopes goodbye. And smart kick that from Donaldson, opting to... I don't know if that was necessarily a smart kick. It ended up inadvertently going into touch, and the Welsh fans are loving every minute of it. Eddie Jones, who of course was not too recently England coach before being sacked, led England to a Grand Slam and another 5 Nations Championship, but the wheels started to fall off and he had to go. And hasn't really done too much better with the Aussie team either this time around, must be said. That loss to Fiji has certainly rocked their confidence, and now, with about 20 seconds to go before the half-time, they could have ill-afforded to let Gareth Anscombe score that penalty. And I do feel for the Aussie fans who will be staying up quite late tonight to watch this, they're going to feel that they're not getting their money's worth. And a possible Welsh try before the half-time. There's Lewis Rees-Zammit. It's open on the right. Can he run through? Trying to push himself forward, but the defence is holding firm. But has he crossed over? Well, that's the extra 10 kilograms of weight in the scrum working its magic, and some brilliant running. You see, that's the difference between the Welsh and the Australians. You see the Welsh backs have been, really moving well, and definitely the passing has been on point. And well, the try hasn't been given, but at half-time, it is, in fact. Australia 6, Wales 16. That is the way it is, and I'm just going to alter this banner too. So Wales recovering well from the early loss of and Bigger. Gareth Anscombe has, in fact, stepped up quite brilliantly. Coming to you live, of course, from Lyon in France. And the Aussies have made some really good yardage, but the Welsh tackling has been perfect. You could say that Wales are the perfect counter-attacking side, and I do expect them to top this group, which means that they will avoid England in the quarterfinals and could end up facing Argentina potentially in the quarterfinals. Argentina are not an easy team, mind you. They were, in fact, the third place winners in 2007 in the tournament, which was in fact held in France, and that could be a tasty matchup indeed. But Australia have a lot of work to do. 10 points behind. They need some inspiration from somewhere. Who will give it to them? I'm going to take a look at the fixtures that are left, and just find out what the permutations could possibly be. Confirmation of some earlier results. Scotland thrashing Tonga 45-17. At one stage, Tonga were ahead of Scotland, but Scotland got their act together quite brilliantly. Still don't think that they will end up qualifying at the expense of Ireland and South Africa. They're going to have to beat Ireland very convincingly to stand any kind of a chance. And in this particular group, we're going to find out who has games remaining. In Pool C, of course, Fiji will be coming up against Georgia on the 30th of September. Australia will be playing Portugal. And Pool C should be rounded off with Wales playing Georgia on the 7th of October. And Fiji will be coming up against Portugal on the 8th. And Australia, I think you could easily say that their campaign could very well be over by then. In fact, if we take a look at Pool C, with all teams now having played 2 games each, Australia are now well behind Fiji, who of course beat Australia quite magnificently, but lost to Wales. And so, having gotten both the big hitters out of the way, they've only got Georgia and Portugal to play, and I do expect them to rack up some big points. If Australia lose this, the only game they have left will be against Portugal, I think, and this could very well prove to be the game that sends them home. England, of course, perfect record. No other team has won even 2 games, but of course England have played 3, while Samoa, Japan, and Argentina have played 2 each. And it is going to be a big fight between Samoa, Japan, and Argentina to see who will join England in the quarterfinals and who could possibly play Wales, while England could have a very tasty matchup against Fiji. And my prediction could very well be that the champion will come from either Pool A or Pool B. Shame, though, that all of these heavy hitters, France, New Zealand, Ireland, and South Africa, are in the same half of the group at the table. So one of these teams should go on to win the tournament. And of course, we should be getting Hanno on very soon. He said he'll be coming on for the second half. Getting sick of the team. I do apologise for that, Chelsea fan. And yes, a brilliant half for Wales indeed. No complaints about that. They've done everything they needed to do, while the Aussies have been, one would say, very flat. And they're going to have to, the Wallabies are going to have to sort of pick up their tails. Goes without saying. At the moment, just watching some highlights from the earlier games, but I think I'm going to switch off the television for now. Just keep my focus. And we do have Hanno on. Good evening, Bert. How are you?
I'm good. You?
Yeah, can't complain. So, obviously, you must have been watching that half on the telly. And as I was saying, Wales have done everything right. Australia haven't. Their handling has been quite sloppy. And as you mentioned, they've been giving away the ball a lot, conceding some needless penalties. Who do you think can possibly come on and change things for Australia, or are they doomed to suffer an early exit?
It's a tough one for Australia, really. Because of the amount of injuries they have to big players, the bench isn't really that good. But we'll have a quick look at the bench. Carter Gordon is a good one. And Fraser McWright. And Nick White. I think those are game changers. But I would rather not bring on Nick White. I would keep Tate McDermott. But Carter Gordon, if you need some energy, definitely bring him on. Maybe take out Andrew Callaway, and then move Donaldson to fullback, which he has played normally in the past 2 games, except in Fiji when he took off Carter Gordon and moved Donaldson to fly off.
Yeah, I'm also taking a look at the Aussie front row, and obviously the captain Dave Parecki has not had much success with the lineouts. Gus Bell is the loose head prop, and Jimmy Slipper, the vastly experienced former captain, is playing at tight head, which isn't really his best position. I know Jason Leonard from England used to started his career as a loose head, but could also play at tight head and ended his career more or less as a tight head. His versatility was wonderful, but he's also looked a little bit slow and somewhat off the pace. So. And I was also talking in the commentary about how when you take a look at the weight of the Aussie pack, they're about 10 kilograms lighter. Would it be wise perhaps to take off Slipper and maybe bring on someone like maybe a Blake Shoop or a Pone Famosli, maybe someone? Because it looks as though that with Slipper in the team, they're not really moving too much forward, and the Welsh pack has been able to move the Aussie pack a great deal tonight.
I'm going to shut you down really quick. No. Look at that team. James Slipper and Rob Valentini are probably the most experienced guys alongside Corbetti and Karevi. So you don't want to take off Slipper and then put another youngster in, especially in such a big game. So I wouldn't go with it. I think he will come off eventually, but keep him on for as long as you can.
Okay, that's your call. You may have a point because obviously, despite having a young captain, the experience of the Welsh is telling. I think they got 4 guys on 100 caps. Adam Beard's won his 50th tonight. And although Morgan is captain in name, it's usually the more experienced guys, the backs who, really boss the entire team around and organise everything. A little bit like how Alan Wynne-Jones used to do it when Sam Warburton was captain. But you may have a point with the experience, but I'm just wondering, a little bit of mobility might go a little bit of a long way. But I take your point that you can't afford to lose the experience of Slipper, especially with Jimmy Skilton being injured and unavailable. His loss is quite big for the Aussies, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So yeah, but I did say Wales would win this game. And they are doing good so far.
Certainly, that try from Wales, you saw how they were able to deceive Australia into thinking they'd go out wide, only for Jack Morgan to literally burst through the middle, make the yardage, and then pass it to Gareth Davies, who just went right over beautifully. But Australia could have had a try of their own. Their handling hasn't really been good tonight. It was Gus Bell, in fact, who I think had a chance to, put Australia back on level terms with a try of their own, but just couldn't get it through. So, yeah, I'm glad to have you on because obviously you will have watched a great deal of, Sanzar rugby, the Southern Hemisphere rugby between South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia. So you will know a lot of the Aussie players quite well.
Yeah, I know the Aussies pretty well, of course.
Okay, so one of the things I'm really grateful for you is that normally when you're on, you explain the rules quite well. For our viewers, and certainly for me, how do you differentiate between a rock and a maul?
So a rock is basically when the player is tackled, and the ball is being placed on the ground, and one team tries to just bounce on the player that has been tackled to protect the ball. With the
Yeah,
maul,
that's perfect.
it's more of the
Moving along
player.
the ground, yes.
Yeah,
Sort of,
no,
with the players coming together and moving with their feet. Is that it?
yeah, the rock is basically you move together as a unit, almost like a scrum, but just you're more standing and not on the ground as much, basically.
And the maul will be what?
No, that is the more with the.
Okay. Oh yeah, when you're standing up,
The rock is basically every time there's a.
you get tackled. Yeah.
Yeah, you get tackled, and that's a rock or breakdown.
So I was right the
Yeah.
first time. I was right the first time. Why I doubted myself, I'll never know. It is what it is, though. Yeah.
They at this moment they're all awful at this moment. Well, yeah, look.
And
The
the worst part is that if Australia,
it's 40 minutes for
sorry, go ahead.
Australia to win or pack their bags, really.
Yep.
They've got 40 minutes to book a flight ticket home or to book a new place in the hotel.
That's the sad reality. And for someone like Eddie Jones, who, I mean, obviously you take a look at the way he's come into the team, he hasn't really improved it very much. It was sort of a little bit like Arteta with Arsenal, a bit of a panic buy in a way, because Australia didn't have anyone else capable of doing the job. And of course, we are coming back to Leon, and the Aussies are coming out. I have absolutely no doubt that Edward Jones will have really ripped into his team at halftime, read them the riot act, and told them, Your World Cup dream is on the line. Some of your careers are on the line. You're going to have to fight really, really hard, boys. And I think, in as much as they haven't been good, good fortune hasn't been on their side. But every single team goes through a bad patch of fortune, and you've got to be able to, make the most of it. Take the rough with the smooth.
Yeah. Of course, well, that reaches semi-finals in the 2019 World Cup.
Well, just about to kick off right now. Gareth Anscombe has the ball at his in his hands and is about to kick. And I'm just going to, change this one to second half. In fact, and Australia reclaim that ball from the kickoff. And we are in fact underway with Wales leading Australia 16-6, and Australia. And I'm sorry to disappoint you, Hannah, but my suspicion has been right. James Slipper has in fact been taken off and been replaced by the number 18, Pone Fa'amausili. So, I think Jones must have been reading my mind and saying that Slipper was slippery tonight. Not his usual high standards. So it also makes probably a little bit more sense to bring in a very big young unit to try and add some heft to the pack. Not that I think it'll necessarily make much difference, but it seems to be working that way. And I mean, I would probably have taken Gus Bell off and replaced him with Fassler, but maybe Slipper was just thought to be a little bit off the pace. And if this could be the end of his international career, then it's a sad way to go out. But a Wales scrum right now. Gareth Davies has the ball in his hand, hoping to try and pass that through. And I do remember what you told me that day. The scrum will be allowed to go ahead, and Davies gets the ball, and that will be an infringement by Australia and a penalty for Wales. And you can see once again
in reality, it's a transitional period for Aussies in this moment in time. The thing is that it has been a long time since they have been like on top. It's been a while. I think last time 2016, in 2018. No, 2016, 2015, that time. Scrum penalty, of course, to Wales, like I said.
Yeah, if memory serves me right, 2015 was when they made the World Cup final, but ended up losing to the All Blacks. And so we've got Gareth Anscombe once again. This penalty will be taken off centre from the left, from his left, I would say. But aside from that rather horrible first kick, he's been spot on tonight. And he should be able to get this over. And he does, using the curve quite nicely, and the officials will raise their flag. And Wales are now 13 points ahead, and Australia's World Cup dreams are being slowly but surely extinguished.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Look, I think that try from Wales really helped them. That like so quickly, because you knew that they were going to need a try, because Australia they like to play with ball, and so I think most people were expecting Australia to get a try from somewhere. The question was, can would Wales score? And scoring so early gave them that advantage.
Yeah, well, Kilkenny's still on the field, and he's been able to run quite well. I actually liked Kilkenny from what I saw of him. Certainly claimed his balls well and ran quite well. I wouldn't have wanted to bring him off. But obviously, the decision to bring off Slipper, I think it had to be done. But, a poor giveaway there, and intercepted brilliantly by Gareth Davies. And you can see that's the difference between Australia and Wales tonight. Wales have just looked sharper and more on it, and Australia have literally been, found wanting. But then a high kick in the air should be reclaimed by Australia very easily, and it is, in fact, the number 14. Let me get his name.
Number
Nawakani.
14,
No,
Samet.
no, that's the Aussie number 14.
Oh,
Nawakani Tawase.
yeah.
Nawakani Tawase.
Guy with the weird surname.
Yeah, listen, mate, I have a weird surname, so I am very empathetic to people whose names are quite long. You know what I mean? Especially, yeah, you see a pretty poor pass over there, and Davies doing brilliantly, but Nawakani Tawase there saving his team. And dangerous looking line out, and I think because that has gone awry and not straight, Wayne Barnes has had no hesitation in penalising the Aussies for that. And the captain, Parecki, pretty poor throw from him, really. You cannot allow the throw to go that far off centre. Hannah?
Yeah. Comment. Steven says yes. They're so strong, but declining in recent years due to new players and coaches coming and going. Yeah. Of course, Steven. This is his channel. He will be publishing content soon.
I think it's fair to say the decision to drop the likes of Quade Cooper and Michael Hooper from the squad is coming back to bite Australia very badly. Eh?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm not surprised. This is the same coach who dropped Tutai Kefu from his squad for 2003. Fat lot of good that did them. And a nice kick forward. And, sadly, Josh Adams running along the line wasn't quite able to claim that. And that should in fact be an Australia line out because, it wasn't necessarily a direct kick into touch. If it was a direct kick into touch, I do believe that would have been a Welsh line out. Am I right?
We'll see it now. One sec.
Oh, it is a Welsh line out. I wonder what's going on there.
It's a 50-22. So basically, 50-22 is when you're in your own half and you kick it so that it goes out inside day 22.
Right.
But the ball has to be bouncing. It can't go directly into touch.
Okay. So Wales making some really good work. Yeah, well, so far, early in the second half, we see Wales really making the Australians pay. Some really intelligent rugby being played by Warren Gatland's boys at the moment. And I said Warren Gatland's boys. Wales are doing some really, really good work. So thanks for correcting me. We're in the sixth phase now. And Wales once again moving forward. The Aussie defence desperately trying to stop them from going forward, but their know-how and nous is carrying them through. And you can just hear, well, I mean, my telly's off, so you can't hear it necessarily. A nice kick forward. Will the Welsh claim that? Yep, they've touched down. And that is a second try. And for the Wallabies, that is goodbye.
Yeah, just not the day today for the Wallabies.
Nick Tompkins, the centre, running onto a smart piece of rugby there. And Anscombe there, kicking that brilliantly. Tompkins running forward past the Aussie defence and coming through and saying, "That's mine, boys. You're not catching me." They've looked sluggish. They've looked bereft of ideas. And you can see how much that means to Anscombe, who wasn't expected to play much of play a bigger role than what he's playing tonight. He wasn't expected to play a bigger role than coming on as a late sub, but obviously with Dan Bigger getting injured, he had to come on. And I think you're jumping the gun over there saying it's 26-6 because Anscombe still has to convert it. But I think you're quite confident that he won't miss from there.
Yeah, 26-6, 20 points the difference.
With half an hour to go. And I can just... I really do feel for some of our Australian friends who, of course, 8 o'clock UK time means it would be 5 o'clock in the morning Australia time, and it will get over by about 7:30-ish, I want to say, in the morning, immediately after which they're going to have to go to work. There's going to be a huge inquest, and we've got another change. It is the number 20, Fraser McGrate, coming on for the blindside flanker, Robert Leota.
I did say he could come on and make a difference. Steven says dropping players and introducing new ones to part of the coaching staff to make those tough decisions. Yeah, then it's going to be hurting Eddie Jones, as it seems like. Yeah, goodbye Australia. So Justin asked, should Sheffield United give their fans back their money? Basically, I don't think so, because that's a lot of money Sheffield United could lose. And it's just, I get where they are coming from, but from the club's point of view, they are losing lots and lots of money there. Um,
Well, another lineup brilliantly won by Wales and some slick passing. Davies to Anscombe, and going to see who that is. Tompkins, the try scorer, back to Davies. Anscombe kicking it forward. Does that go into touch? Yes, it does. It's a red wave right now. And I will answer that question and say, if not a full refund, then certainly, there should be some kind of, repayment for the fans. But let's put it into perspective that Sheffield United aren't expected to, stay up, and they came up against a Newcastle side that were literally firing on all cylinders. Of course, they were firing on all cylinders when they beat Aston Villa 5-1 on the, and it's an Australian penalty for a high tackle. It's just going from bad to worse for them.
Are they going to the
Anscombe
post
wants
again, Wales, or to the touch?
Nope, between the posts. Because every single kick between the posts is 3 more points added to the lead, and also more time being eaten up.
Could we see a potential card?
I want to see that tackle again because I didn't quite catch it, really. It is another kick at goal for Gareth Anscombe, dead centre. Really can't see Australia coming back.
This should be a straightforward kick.
Well, I mean, it's straight ahead and he has to kick it forward, so yeah, straightforward. Not so simple, though, because the very first kick he had, he kicked it and it went off the posts and away. But since then, of course, he has been, spot on. And now is no different. 23 points to the good. Not even 3 converted tries can save Australia now.
29-6.
Spare a thought for the Australians in the crowd, if there are any. And once again, the wily New Zealander is getting the better of his Aussie counterpart. But possible, could have been an opportunity for Australia to gain some possession and some yardage, but that's been, wasted. Less than half an hour to go. I really can't see the Wallabies coming back from here. There will be another change made. The fly half, Ben Donaldson, is being taken off. And on his place, you've called it, Carter Gordon. I wonder if he's going to be Flash Gordon with his speedy runs.
Well, I think that sends a clear message to what they're going to try and do. Australia, they're going to want to play Keep the ball, play more expensive rugby.
And a Welsh scrum. So Australia are going to have to do a little bit more work here, but we'll see what happens. 27 minutes to go, with or without stoppages.
Of course, something that could save Australia is a losing bonus point. But they would be hoping that Fiji do lose to Portugal, or who else is in the group?
Georgia.
Portugal, and I think that's it. Oh, Georgia, no, Georgia. Who else is in this group?
Wales, Australia, Fiji, Portugal, and Georgia. And Fiji actually were quite lucky
is
to
it
have
Georgia?
gotten. And Fiji were very lucky to have gotten Wales and Australia out of their way. The win against Australia was a huge bonus for them, so we could see them in the knockout stages. And
Yeah.
still, the ball's not being released, but yeah. But as I said, I mean, obviously, I do take Steps' point when he says that sometimes tough decisions have to be made. But then, you know, having taken the decision to reintroduce Cooper into the Quade Cooper, reintroduce him into the Wallabies setup, and then also have Michael Hooper's experience as well as the former skipper, you don't just do away with that. And England and Wales have selected some pretty experienced players in their squad, as have the New Zealanders. France look very inexperienced in comparison, but they have played some exciting rugby. Ireland should, of course, have had, their 130-odd capped prop Healy in the tournament, but he sadly got injured. Otherwise, I'm sure he would have had a role to play.
And
but Ireland have looked really good.
Taking off James Slepper has not been a good decision. The guy that has come on have considered 2 penalties. New England Patriots get their first win of the season. Packers got their second one of the season. Where are they table-wise?
I want to find out if
the Buccaneers are still to play. They played today. They beat the Bears.
No, the Bears was last week, mate.
Oh yeah, that was last week. Yeah, they're still playing on Tuesday. Tuesday early morning, playing the Eagles.
That's a Monday night game over there.
Yeah, for them. Tuesday morning for us.
Yep. And Wales bursting through the centre. It's the Welsh number 13, George North. And Josh Adams, blistering run down the wing. Wales can score another try and further put them to bed. But has Wayne Barnes signalled an Aussie penalty? I mean, a penalty in favour of Australia. We're going to find out. Great passing, wonderful running. George North bursting through. And the Aussies unable to contain it. Looked like a knock-on to me, but not too sure. But Adams trying to go through, and you can see the frustration on Georgie North's face. He wanted to see a try. But it is, in fact, an Aussie scrum.
Forward pass? Yeah, forward pass that one.
Forward pass. Sometimes when you're watching on the telly, it's hard to tell when you have a forward pass. And, of course, it is an Aussie scrum. Still Tate McDermott, who has had a good game tonight, but sadly, most of his teammates haven't been able to step up. And you can see the replacement prop who replaced James Slipper bleeding from his ear. So maybe Eddie Jones should have listened to you, Hanno.
Well, he's having a tough time in the scrums. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Right, so it is Carter Gordon who tries to go forward, but he's literally upended, trying to release the ball, and McDermott says, "Yep, I'll have that." And they're still trying to burst through, but
the stream be up to yourselves. Incredible. Yep.
And Wales have been given the advantage, and they've got the ball, and Tompkins can try and run with it. Nice flick pass to Anscombe, who will try and kick it forward, but excellently claimed that by Carter Gordon, who has looked good since coming on. Ugh. Looks a bit like a young Robin Gibb from the Bee Gees. A lot of our older fans will remember him.
Oh, no. Tate McDermott.
What happened?
That kick he did. Awful.
Let me guess. Another Welsh penalty?
Welsh penalty. They're going to the polls again. Yeah, they're going to the post again.
Yep.
So at this stage, Australia will be hoping Georgia could get results against Fiji or even Portugal.
Or Georgia on their mind. Could we see another replacement for Australia? Well, it is Andrew Kilkenny who has in fact gone off to be replaced by... No, not Kilkenny, Kellaway, who's gone off to be replaced by Suliasi Vunivalu. And Gareth Davies has also come off. We're going to find out who his replacement is. And the captain, Parecki, has gone off to be replaced by the number 16, Matt Fessler, who might have better success with the lineouts. It is, of course, now Wales 32, Australia 6, 26 points ahead. They're going to need 4 converted tries to try and get a win. And Davies' replacement is the number 21, Thomas Williams. Spelt Tomos. Well, this looks a little bit better from the Aussies, showing a little bit of fight, trying to move forward, but the Welsh defence once again outstanding. And the replacement prop for Amar Sili, trying to go forward. And 5th phase done. Gordon receiving that pass from McDermott and passing it to Patea. And so what's going on right now is a series of rucks, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. When they are tackled and they go over the ball to protect them.
Right. And so we see phase 7, 8, and 9. We're going through phase 9. So once we go beyond a certain phase, I think they can't tackle anymore, can they?
No, it continues. It can continue forever. And they kept up Karevi. Is a version of a mole where he's held up and he can't move.
Right.
Yeah, they've just been too good tonight.
Yeah, and I did mention that the weight of the Aussie, the Welsh pack has just told tonight. And Wales have a scrum. And Tompkins running with the ball, trying to sort of running headlong into the defense. And Liam Williams reclaiming that perfectly and trying to move forward, but pushed back. Thomas Williams kicking it forward, but that's not going to go into touch. That will be reclaimed by Koroi Beta, who's had a good game tonight, but sadly, most of his teammates haven't been able to, step up. And that is kicked into touch. All over bar the shouting, I would say. Definitely can't see Australia coming back from this.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's done.
Right. And so let's assume, of course, that Australia do crash out of the World Cup early. That will, of course, be the end of Eddie Jones's stint. And Wales win that line out. Wales have won 11 of their 12 lineouts tonight. Brilliant stat, that. Faletau rising and claiming that perfectly. And, Wales have started slowly, but they've grown into this tournament, and they could very well be one of the dark horses. So their upcoming quarterfinal against the group Pool D runners-up, which I expect will be either Argentina or maybe even Japan, will be a clash for the ages. I think Argentina beat Samoa, though, didn't they?
Yeah, but Samoa has only played 2 games, same as Argentina. So they both got a win and a loss. Where Japan has played 3 games, I believe.
And Australia now trying to move forward. And once again, a pass going awry. You can see how they tried to make something happen, but just a few rushes of blood to the head, and it hasn't worked out for them. And with 15 minutes to go, this is the story of their night, really. Brilliant passing, but a misplaced pass over here, and hoping that he wasn't even able to pass, really, but... and another replacement, it is the lock, Richie Arnold, being replaced by, I think it's Matt Phillip, the number 19. So almost the entire bench has come on tonight for Australia. While Wales have recovered brilliantly from losing Dan Biggar early on and have put in a much bigger performance tonight. Anscombe once again with the ball, kicking it expertly into touch, rubbing further salt into the Aussie wounds. It's completely a red wave tonight. And Elias has gone off.
Again, Wales? That penalty?
Ryan Elias has gone off. A big night for him tonight. Elliot D comes on for him. And it looks as though... Yep. I think they want an extra try, and it is the replacement hooker, Elliot D, with his first touch being taking that line out, one expertly. Yep.
Which would
effectively put Australia out of contention.
Yeah.
Josh Adams there on that left, with his movement and speed, he's always going to be a threat. And then even centrally, you've got some big units there. the forwards. Oh, but that is given away by Wales, and Carter Gordon reclaims that perfectly. And the number 4, Nick Frost, is able to try and move forward, but a rare moment of respite for Australia, perhaps, but it just hasn't been their night, really. And you can see Eddie Jones with his hands over his mouth. He's wondering, what more could we possibly do? What shouldn't we have done?
Yeah.
And McDermott, I think, a valiant effort in a losing cause. He's gone off tonight, and his replacement should be Nick White, the number 21. So the only person who hasn't come off the bench is the number 17, the replacement prop, Blake Shoup. I like the way my lips popped with that. But you think that Eddie Jones might just bring him on for the final few minutes to make sure that every man and every member of the 23 gets some minutes on the field. Fat lot of good that does in the scheme of things. But and you see this stat. Australia have made nearly 600 meters compared to about 300 for Wales. But Wales have scored 2 tries already. So you can see that all their huffing and puffing, they just weren't quite able to blow the Welsh house down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another Welsh scrum, this time to be taken by Thomas Williams, number 21. And Wales definitely want that try. Anscombe all the way to Rhys Zammit on the right. And Rhys Zammit has support from Liam Williams and Toby Faletau. George North gets the ball. Williams to Elliot D, the number 16, the replacement hooker. Now with Domakovsky, the number 17, who came on for Gareth Thomas. Not to be confused with the other Gareth Thomas, who earned 100 caps for Wales and was a towering figure for them in years gone by. Into phase 7. Thomas Williams out to Faletau. This time out to number 18, Henry Thomas. Another replacement prop. And Wales still trying to go through into the 10th phase. So as you said, it can go on in perpetuity, but neither Wales nor Australia would necessarily want that. I mean, Australia wouldn't want that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And needless giveaway. I mean, Australia, I think, had to release, sort of help release that ball. It is now another ruck, and Thomas Williams gets it out again. Anscombe with a drop goal attempt. And that is good. So further salt into the Aussie wounds. A 29-point lead. I don't think they will get a bonus point just yet, but the Wallabies are in the mud. And of course, if we were to engage in football style banter, we'd be saying, Aussies in the mud, Aussies in the mud.
Of course, you're loving it. So that makes it 35-6. Jeez.
Yeah, and 2 replacements for Wales. I believe Will Rowlands has come off to be replaced by what looks like David Jenkins, I think. And Tane Basham has also come on to replace Adam Beard, I think. So we got 2 new locks. The only person who now will have not come on is Rio Dyer, the backup fullback, and I think, yep. Speak of the devil, he comes on to replace Lewis Rees-Zammit as a precaution for an injury. So all 23 players have now seen action. Standing ovation for Rees-Zammit, who has looked very frightening, certainly with his pace. Two tries, 2 conversions, 6 penalties for Garrett, and a drop goal for Anscombe. 2 penalties for Donaldson. Really, that was as good as it could get. And I think to our Aussie friends, I do apologise for that little, that little song over there. But just goes to show you might need to demand some changes after this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think they need to do it.
This could also certainly be the end of Edward Jones's coaching career. Had a promising start when he took over as England coach, replacing I don't remember who his predecessor was. I'll have to look that up. But obviously, after that disastrous World Cup at home, he had to come in. And one of his first jobs was to replace Chris Robshaw as captain with Dylan Hartley. Robshaw had a great beginning, but fizzled out afterwards. A rare moment of laziness from Wales, but Jack Morgan cleans up. Thomas Williams now passing it out. And that pops out of the Aussies' hands and well claimed by the Welsh number 19, Jenkins. They look faster. They look more. And you can see the Aussie number 12 slapping the ball there out of the Welsh hand. And that is considered a deliberate knock-on. And that will be a chance for Wales to kick this into touch with the best part of 7 minutes remaining. And Gareth Anscombe obliges. Now, obviously, we've had some early injury replacements. I mean, Biggar obviously was replaced by Anscombe. But sometimes you've got to be careful that the replacements don't get injured, because you do not want to have a situation where there might not be anyone available to cover that specific position, eh? A very cheeky short line out there taken by Elliot D. And Wayne Barnes bringing that passage of play to a halt and giving Australia a bit of a respite. And Carter Gordon now has a chance to kick it into touch, and he does that. And I think the Aussies have decided, you know what, we are going to lose, but not without at least scoring a try. Yeah. In fact, he replaced Stuart Lancaster as England coach, and in 2016 led us to our first Grand Slam in 13 years. But things completely started to unravel not too long afterwards. Of course, 3 months later, he won 3-0 in Australia, which was quite terrific. But on the 6th of December last year, barely 9 months ago, Jones was sacked as coach following a poor run of results, winning just 5 of 12 tests. He still left England with a win percentage of 73%, which certainly wasn't bad, but just goes to show that sometimes winning papers over a lot of cracks. And you see the Aussies, with 5 minutes to go, have had enough. Many of them are leaving the stadium already. Clearly, they have despised what they've seen tonight. The thing is, though, Eddie Jones is set to stay on until 2027, where when Australia will be hosting the World Cup. And of course, he was coach when they last hosted it in 2003. But clearly, after this disastrous campaign, I mean, if he's able to get to phase out a few of the older guard and get a few youngsters in and have them, nice passage of play there from Australia, intercepting the ball and kicking it into touch. But it really will only be more than a small moment of respite. But you know, as I said, Hanno, several of the veterans will be phased out. If Jones does indeed stay on till the conclusion of his contract, do you think that they can still recover from this?
I think they can, but there needs to be serious talk about Eddie Jones and his campaign.
Anscombe kicking that well into touch deep into the Aussie half, and they are not planning on letting Australia score a try tonight. You can see the way these Aussie fans have left the stadium. They've been disgusted with the performance tonight. And spare a thought, as I've said, for those Aussie fans who woke up at 4:30 in the morning local time to watch this. Close to the Aussie goal line, Elliot D with the line out. Won quite brilliantly, and Wales are going to push forward for another try. The strength of their pack carrying them through, and have they crossed over? Yes, they have.
So another try for Wales. So they could be pushing for a bonus point. And if they can grab a quick, if they can grab another try quickly. So 46, jeez.
Yeah, I think the reason why that penalty was awarded in favour of Wales was because that kick had been, I don't know if that kick was necessarily charged down and then kicked into touch, but clearly it didn't really work in Australia's favour. And Wales's pack once again packing off Australia. By the way, I was saying earlier on in the show, Hanno, that my prediction is that the winner of this Rugby World Cup will come from either Pool A or Pool B. And it really is unfair that four of the best teams in this World Cup, four of the top five at least, are in that half of the group. And it is Jack Morgan who crosses over for that try.
Yeah.
The captain Morgan doing his bit. And off the post again from Anscombe, and it doesn't go over. So the try is unconverted, but not that it will matter. And Wales are home and dry, and the Aussies can say bye-bye. But yeah, so like you were mentioning that Australia were going for a bonus point. They would have had to score 4 tries to get it, yes?
Which one? For Wales, they needed another try. Australia, they needed to get to within 11 points.
Not going to happen. Last 15 seconds of normal time remaining, and I think the Aussies have pretty much given up the ghost.
Yeah.
And certainly not going to score a try from this position, even with the stoppage time. A Welsh penalty not rolling away. This could very well be the last kick of the game. Carter Gordon kicking that into touch. Is that the... No, I think they're going to let the line out go ahead. And you can see Warren Gatland there, all smiles. Not exactly a very a coach who endears himself to a lot of people, and there are certainly a lot of Irishmen who are not very fond of him, but he gets results. But a possible consolation Irish try? Nope. The player was rolling along with the ball and couldn't quite touch down. Brilliant Welsh defence puts paid to that. And you can see the player unable to touch down, and that is, of course, the last action of the game. Thoroughly professional Welsh display, getting the win they deserve. And as for Australia, a lot of soul searching, and their final game in this pool will really be nothing more than a chance to play for some injured pride. And you can see the devastation on the faces of the players. Eddie Jones not looking happy at all. Korobeta had a good game tonight, but he was one of only few Australians to distinguish themselves. And the final score from the Olympic Stadium in Lyon, Olympic Lyonnais Stadium rather, in Lyon, it is Wales 40, Australia 6. And that is the end of that tonight. So Wales starting slowly but progressing magnificently. A team to be feared, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely a team to be feared. I think the Wallabies going into the quarterfinals. I'm expecting them to get to the semi-final, depending who they face. But they have a good chance to reach the semi-final. Wales.
Yeah.
As
And this,
for
I think, this will probably be their third consecutive semi-final after reaching that target in 2015 and 2019. I think they had a chance to go all the way to the final, but you know, Sam Warburton getting himself sent off in that semi-final didn't help them at all, and they ended up going down in flames. And of course, in the following tournament, I believe Wales came up against your lot, the Springboks, and just couldn't quite get over the line. But this Welsh team, a lot of people weren't exactly giving them the confidence at the beginning of the tournament, but they're starting to turn a few heads, eh?
Yeah, they are. They are definitely doing so. So yeah. But I think that's wrap on that. Really, comments. See you guys next time. Yeah, help yourselves. Um, I'll see you guys in a bit. Be up to all the new subscribers we got today. 5 new subscribers. So be up to you all. Much appreciated as always. So yeah, Manny. Where can people really find you?
Yep. Basically, find me anywhere and everywhere on YouTube. Coach's Corner, Del Boy Gunner TV. I hosted the call-in show tonight, and I was not happy at all with the result, but it is what it is. Oris Talks Football, Tony Claude Gunner TV, Danny AC TV, Up the Cherries in all departments, the Bournemouth Fan Channel, Eugen Spurs Asia TV, where we normally come together and do some streams. We did a North London Derby preview stream earlier on in the week. Do catch that if you can. AFC Talk Show TV. I was supposed to come on the North London Derby preview with MK the Don and also Deji Spurs. Missed that. Kicking myself, really. And big up to several other channels on YouTube where you can find me. Can't really name them all. Don't have the energy to do so, but send them a check in the post. And yeah, big up to everyone in the chat, everyone who's contributed. You're the ones who've made the stream and Hannah's channel what they are. It's been a good weekend, a good sporting weekend. Probably not for Arsenal and Chelsea fans or Aussie rugby fans, but you know, it is what it is. I hope all of you take care of yourselves and have a good upcoming week. Don't do anything that Mr. Trollope and I wouldn't do, but for now, take care of yourselves. God bless every one of you.
Yeah, be up yourself, Manny. As for me, you guys know where to find me. Instagram, _coach_corner. Twitter, 170830030, and then TikTok, Coach Corner 1. Be up yourself for all the love with the Rugby World Cup content on Instagram, on YouTube. So, yeah, love for the love, people. And we are out.